We are going to start by let's talk about Alexander Isak. Makes his Liverpool debut at Anfield, is taken off just before the 60-minute mark. Arne Slot told us he reckons he can do about an hour, and that is exactly what he did. For voting purposes, you guys, 54.8% of you said Alexander Isak was sound, 27% said boss, 15% said decent, just 3% said you're messing. Don't believe that. You guys are wrong.
Newcastle fans.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, loads of Newcastle fans maybe infiltrating the vote. For what it's worth, Alexander Isak, in his 58 minutes, got a shot on target, one shot off target, a couple of dribbles, some nice touches as well. Errol, so the people have voted him as sound, and I think that's fair enough. I think promising signs, clearly not 100% yet, 100% fit yet, but I liked what I saw.
I did. I thought he was mobile. Again, I think it's a reflection of the whole side in terms of, especially that first half performance. Liverpool seemed hungry. They seemed like they really had the bit between the teeth. And Alexander Isak probably wasn't really needed in the way that we was expecting from the outset of the game. You know, we get 2 goals very early on, and then it takes him a minute to really warm into the game and get going. But I think once he does, one of the things that really stood out for me, Steve, was the ability to just let it stick. And I think he can kind of underappreciate some moments like that sometimes. You just expect that all strikers, no matter how much you pay for them, as soon as the ball's played into feet, it should stick with them and it shouldn't bobble up and the touch should always be perfect. But it still takes a certain level of quality to be under pressure, have a defender right up against you and still be able to take the ball, take it in on your touch, turn, twist, get your shots off. And I think that was another sign from him. It was early flashes of trying to get the shots off towards goal as well. He knew that there might not be clear-cut chances, but he does strike me as the type of striker that even if there is a half chance, he's willing to pull the trigger. And I just thought he was finding his feet. You could see that he's very confident. You can tell that there is quality there. But I just loved the way that when the ball was played into feet, more often than not, it just stuck with him. And he was able to find his other teammates as well and bring them into play. So I was impressed with him in terms of his overall play when the ball was played into him. But then I was also impressed with his movement and running into those channels. There was a couple of incidents in the first half, especially where he was running over to the left-hand channel as well, and he was happy to pick up the ball there. I think he gets fouled over there at one point as well and gets clattered. And then he did the same over on that right-hand side as well, and then I think he wins a throw-in. So it was just really interesting to see that he was willing to pop up, obviously to try and get involved in the game as much as he could and pop up in different areas to try and influence the game as well. So I think it's a good first start for him. Obviously, he would have liked the goal, but I think he's definitely got some improvements as well in terms of obviously getting in front of goal, getting more shots off, and then making more of a hard work for defenders as well. But in terms of that first 60 minutes, and if that's just the kind of sights that we're going to start to see of Alexander Isak, I think we already knew he was going to have a frightening striker on our hands. But again, it's just, he looks so good in a Liverpool shirt, mate. I just thought he's probably just made up now that he's got it under his belt. The debut's done, and he can just start focusing on getting the week-to-week stuff and build on his game, moving forward. So I was impressed, happy that he can sit there sound, knowing that, again, we can only go up from here, and I think he will do in games to come.
Yeah, it's worth mentioning. I thought you can clearly see where he's going to be very effective. It's around the box, of course. You know, his first shot, his touch, bang, turn, shoot. He has a couple of those. But on the halfway line, I thought he was fabulous. You know, playing into feet, the little flicks around the corner, the one that freed up Florian Wirtz. Those two looking like they could get a little bit of a connection there as well. Is highly encouraging. So I agree that we know how good he is. We've seen it. There's no surprise with Alexander Isak. He's done it in the Premier League for years. He's done it against us at times as well. I think, Errol, he was sharper. I'd like to put this to you as well, your thoughts. I thought he looked sharper than I thought he was going to look, if that makes sense.
No,
I presume for a guy with no pre-season, 20 minutes against Sweden against Kosovo, where they were basically going for everything, and it wasn't like a too strenuous in terms of that. I thought, he's going to be a guy who's been out for a long time. He's not going to be at it, but the flicks and the tricks and the running ability and the getting around the pitch, I was hugely impressed with how fresh he looked. He doesn't look he's going to be miles away from being able to play full games, which is obviously a positive.
No, I don't. I thought, he takes a big clattering in that first half, and you kind of fear the worst because of the lack of football and the lack of match fitness. But he's able to get back up, and I said, you just kind of we're 2-0 up, and then obviously it gets the 2-1, but you just give him the 45 and then a 2-1. You think, no, just let him stick it out a little bit longer. But like you've just mentioned there, that freshness, could he have been guilty of being a little bit rusty if the touch wasn't quite right, or he didn't time the runs, or he didn't get caught offside once? Do you know what I mean? All these little things and these little nuances in the game that you just take for granted. But when you've got a top top class striker. They're just on it, and they've just got it. As you say, you know, that form as temporary, class as permanent. He is a class act in terms of being that number 9. He is a perfect fit for this Liverpool setup, and I think the likes of Mohamed Salah, the more he gets to play with them, same with Gakpo, same with Florian Wirtz as well. There was a couple of moments, and I noticed Wirtz seems to be quite a selfless player in the sense sometimes where he was trying to find these acting free him and kind of gift wrap him a goal, and it just fell a little bit short in front of him, but the intentions were there, and I think it's only going to take couple more games maybe before it all just clicks and we just light the torch paper a light, and all of a sudden we're just off to the races, and you know, he's going to be game in, goal out kind of player for us. So really happy that we've got him now and he's our player, and we can start to see how he can improve and see what he can add to his game and what he can add to this team. But in terms of a fair start, like you've just mentioned there, the fact that he is that fresh and he's that mobile as well for us at the moment, it was all good signs, promising signs, and I just think, again, he's a confident player, but knowing that we got the 3 points as well, I'll probably give him a little bit of a confidence boost going into the game on the weekend. So really happy with him. As long as we can wrap him up in cotton wool and there's no injury concerns, I think he's had a good, solid start to his career.
Yeah, I agree. And I say Arne Slot after the game said, you know, Arne Slot went, I was surprised how fit he looked. So me and you both, Arne, it was a really encouraging start, I think, for Alexander Isak. Let us know in the comment section your thoughts on the debut of the Liverpool's record signing, the most expensive player in Premier League history. Let us know how you thought Alexander Isak did on his debut. That was a clip from the Player Ranking Show. If you'd like to check out the show in full in either video or podcast form, simply head to redmenplus.com.